Yeah,
What do we have today?
I'd love to go over some little bullet points before we discuss if it's a good idea in general to go for the Dance of the Dragons. So our new showrunners are going to be Ryan Condal and Miguel Sapochnik. Ryan Condal is the new guy, whereas Miguel Sapochnik obviously did some work on Game of Thrones before, the Battle of the Bastards, the Long Night, stuff like that. Yeah, now it's Ryan Condal who has a little bit of backstory to himself with George. He and George know each other, or have done so for years now. And he was actually the first one HBO contacted to do a spin-off back in 2016. And yeah, supposedly we're getting 5 seasons, 10 episodes. Filming will start in 2021 and the show will air in 2022. So what do you make of that? The new guys. We have a bigger writing team. Also,
Yeah.
the idea of the Dance of the
Um,
Dragons.
right. Uh, I mean, we know Miguel is going to be a good director, but whether being I think because the showrunner is normally more of a writer role, so we'll see. It's probably a new area for him, so it might be actually a challenge for Miguel Sapochnik, but I think he understands the theme of the show, like the power dynamics, and he's awesome as a director and handling, cinematography and keeping things real and the stunts good. So technical aspect, I have no doubt, and I think the way they might divide the work is that Sapochnik will deal with the technicalities of how things are done on the ground, and Ryan Condal will deal with the narratives, the general storyline, and how to organize that. And maybe because he's close to George and he's been reading the books for a long time, he's keeping the lore in check while Sapochnik is doing the technical stuff. That's how I think.
Yeah, and I think it's a good mix, and I love the idea of Miguel Sapochnik being back because if you think about all these battles, and the Dance of the Dragons is full of it. It's great to have a guy with such an experience, especially in the world of A Song of Ice and Fire. Great to have him on, honestly, and I've heard the writing team is bigger this time, so it's not just going to be two guys writing it again, which I think is great because, as you said, gotta keep the lore intact and check what works and what doesn't. And more people
Right.
writing the stuff can only mean better quality. In ge-
Sometimes. It's like sometimes like True Detective season one, you have one writer. It's just like the greatest thing ever. It's like your team has to have like what they need to have is like the same vision, but maybe different flavor for every episode. Kind of like The Mandalorian. You can't just be like, hey, overall we're doing the Stance of the Dragon thing, and then one episode's written by the Last Jedi dude. And then you're like, oh wow, Rhaenyra is a hologram created by the Force. I can't have that. Can't have that. You gotta be creative, but also keep in line with the major themes and storyline. That's just how I think. Yeah.
yeah, and in general, it makes sense to go for this exact time frame of the story. I mean, it has lots of battles, a war of succession again. You have 20 dragons, so it appeals to the masses. And from what
The
I've heard,
soccer moms, as they say.
yeah, and the football guys, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it was obviously going to be another big spectacle again. As much as I would have loved to get Duncan Egg as the spin-off, it makes more sense for HBO to go for some type of big battle series again.
Yeah.
That's why they probably went for the long night at the beginning, and now Um, we're
Right.
we're having 20 dragons. Although let's see how many will make it to the screen.
Yeah, because Dunk and Egg are for people who enjoy Brienne chapters.
Ah, come on. I mean, Brienne is pretty boring for me, but
No,
I
no,
love that
like,
book.
but like the way Brienne travels in Riverlands and discover all the tiny little lore about the Blackfire Rebellion and here and there. That's what basically Dunk and Egg is about. They travel around and learn about all the stuff, and then you tease on Blood Raven, and then you have the Trial of the Seven and all that stuff. It's fascinating, but it's for us who enjoy Feast for Crows.
Yeah,
And dragons will entice the, as you say, the football dudes. And it has a bigger budget. Does it really have the same budget as Final Season? That's a
uh,
lot.
that's what I've heard, but I'm not sure.
That's interesting. That's even better. They can have even more battles because now most of the main characters are fairly unknown. They can pay them like $5 an hour. It's just all on CGI. Oh, dude. I gotta circle back to like Richard Madden when he found success in the show Bodyguard. He did an interview. He said Game of Thrones did paid him like very little money. That was so sad.
Yeah, and then after season 5 or after
Yeah, they
season 6,
renegotiate after
they all
season
got
five.
the
Yeah,
bag afterwards. It's
they yeah.
tragic for
He
Richard
did not
Madden.
have the Stephen Delane contract. That's just too bad.
Yeah,
Not everyone can be him.
or the Lena Headey one. I mean,
Oh,
staring
right.
out of a
Yeah.
window and getting like $3 million per episode. Yo,
Yo,
that's
that's
a dream.
insane. Yeah. Well, she's a good actress, so I'll give her the pass.
Oh hell yeah. Um, she made Cersei more sympathetic, so to say. I think she's way worse in the books. They did a good job portraying
Yeah,
her as
because
this
that's the
caring
same
mother.
thing with
She's
Tywin.
yeah. Oh, definitely, definitely. When they had decided to change Roose Bolton and Arya to Tywin and Arya in season 2,
Right.
was a great change and it made him more human.
Do you think there was narrative problems with swapping Roose Bolton for Tywin? I know it's nice, but huh. I just thought they played it too close. It was a little sketchy. Because the Littlefinger was like looking at her. He's like, "What is this? I
Yeah,
hang out with your dad 3 days ago."
yeah. There was this little look, but it never went anywhere. So he never even
Yeah, but
mentions it or
I
stuff
love that.
like that.
Yeah, plus if you tease Roose Bolton too early, then it's gonna be a little sketchy. And people will see the Red Wedding coming.
It was for the better. Let's say it was for the
Yeah.
better, especially for Arya.
Right.
They kind of connected there for a bit, and
And also you draw a parallel between Arya and Cersei, which is interesting. I don't think you get that in the books.
yeah, as I said, in the show they did a great job portraying Cersei as this like caring mother.
In the books I think she mainly cares about Joffrey. Tommen and Marcella, she's like, whatever, bro. It's like, oh, okay, you're like Joffrey, but less of a dick. I like you less.
When Marcella comes back in Winds of Winter, she's like, "Ah, you got your whole face torn off. I don't give. I'd
She's
rather
like,
just."
Uncle Tyrion, we look the same now. I'm just,
When she's
yeah.
entering the Red Keep, everyone's just shouting half man, half man, half man.
Oh yeah,
We're
that's
back to that.
so dope. Queen Marcella the Scarred. Queen Marcella the no ear. Half ear. Half ear queen. Oh, like Rhaenyra, half ear queen, half ear queen.
bro,
That's so dumb.
bro.
I'm gonna I'm gonna show myself that.
Aye, that's it for the podcast. Thank you everyone for tuning in.
Yeah.
But yeah, to get back to House of the Dragon
Yeah.
for a minute. I think it's going to be interesting to see how far back they are starting. The first guy they cast was obviously
Viserys, right?
Viserys.
I think just one episode is enough. Just show them in their childhood, establish Allison and everyone else, and then they grow up like 20 minutes later. And then, yeah, then you have the attorney and all that. It can be like an episode and a half. It doesn't have to be that long. And then the rest is literally just the war.
I would
That's how I think.
I would love to have the first season as this like introduction to the Driftmark, to King's Landing again, to Old Town, Harrenhal. I would love to spend some time at all these places that partially we've already seen, and then
Yeah.
finish the first season with Blood and Cheese. That's how I think it would work.
Oh,
for the
really?
best. Yeah,
That's pretty slow.
yeah. Look at season 1.
Huh.
Look at how much time we spent at Winterfell, then at in King's Landing, at the small council. Take your
Yeah,
time.
I guess. Right. I mean, it could work. Do we get a battle before Blood and Cheese? We have some battles, right?
The battle on the Dornish
Ah,
stepstones, if I remember it correctly. But that's
okay.
years
Yeah.
before, so maybe we get a little glimpse of
Yeah,
that.
Blood and Cheese would be a good finale. It will be like the Red Wedding, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the red wedding of the show, if they do
Yeah,
it
it's
correctly.
good. Yeah, let's not make it too gross though, because
Yeah,
that thing is kind of messed up. They have to be pretty careful with presenting it in a tasteful way.
yeah. They can't do it like The Walking Dead, where they killed off Glenn.
Oh, that's so gross.
Yeah,
It's like I get it. It's in the comics. This is one of those times where like the source material is not necessarily correct just because it's source material. That's the same thing with the boys. The boys comics is so horrendous. It's like you cannot adapt that faithfully.
I think for The Walking Dead it worked for the comics. Seeing it on screen though, first they fucked up when they went for the big cliffhanger where it's just POV and you don't know who got the bath.
Right.
And then to recreate that whole tension, and you're just sitting there, and then it's Glenn anyway. But cooler because they also killed Abraham, so it's better than the comics, so to say. It was a bit weak, and
Uh,
then they
I don't know.
they really proceeded to adapt the best storyline of all the comics, which was All Out War, and do such a poor